Hey guys, so it's been a long time since I've done a tutorial, um, and I know in the last one I said I was going to do these more often, and now I have decided that that's what I'm going to do. So you're going to see these weekly now, and I'm sticking to it, so no more chickening out, no more slacking off. Um, but done a lot of growing in the last 6 months since I've done anything really with this. Um, yeah, so this track actually has come a long way since the last time I did a tutorial, and it's actually changed quite a bit. And that's what happens when you spend time working on something and you hit a brick wall and you can't really do much with it. So you kind of have to take it apart and figure out what's working and what's not working. So one of the things that I realized that wasn't working with this was all the synths were going too fast. So I cut the speed in half as far as the movement of the synths, and it really changed the feel a lot. And I think it's a lot better now. And changed the name. It's now called Historia. Didn't really have a name last time, but now this is going to be going on my album that I'm working on. Um, and so I just want to show you guys what I've been doing with this, and maybe answer some questions that people had about last time, and maybe go in a different direction with this tutorial as far as not just giving details on synths, as far as how I'm programming, but just overall kind of ideas on production. So I'll just start off. You can just hear a little bit at the beginning. So that's just the intro, and I'll show you um, where the bass comes in towards the end here. The bass was kind of the main part in the intro last time, and I just did some arranging this time and kind of put it in the right place. So here's the swell up to the main bit. So I had a couple comments about the bass, so I'll go into that a little bit. So for this bass, I'm using two instances of Massive. One is the main sound, and it's a patch that I made called Beer Bubble Bass, and I'm actually going to link this in the bottom, so you'll see a link to this, so you can download this. And if you're using a legit copy of Massive, that is the most recent, you'll be able to use this. Otherwise, sorry. And then the second one here is just a sine wave, just so I can have a clean low end that is going to be the most resonant and good as possible. So I know a lot of people like to do that and do double up your bass just to make sure you're gonna get all the low end that you want. And it's easier to control when you kind of separate it out like that. Um, on tutorials I've done in the past, people have actually said, "Hey, the patch sounds nothing like what you're doing because you totally avoided the effects section." And I know that in the past I did that, and I'm sorry for that. That sometimes what comes out of here and then goes into the effects and comes out here is not the same as just the patch by itself. So I'm gonna focus more on that, on actually showing you that there's more to the sound. And when you're freaking out about how it doesn't sound like what I was doing, I'm sorry. So I'll just play this by itself, and so you can get a feeling for how it sounds like this. So the sub here is going to give it, that low end. There's actually some noise on that too. It's going to help out with that, I think. Actually, you know what? I think that noise is coming from a plugin, possibly. So, because I have the sausage fattener here. I love this plugin. It's so nice. Just adds cool grittiness to it. So I'll take the effects off this, and you can hear how different it is without. Just like that without. So it just like opens it up and gives a lot more mid, kind of high, like that little bite. So I really like that a lot. Did some processing with a compressor here. Added some harmonics. So, and I roll off the major lows on this, because I want my kick to be the main thing that really hits you. And again, that's all a stylistic thing. Depends on the type of track, the genre, everything. So it's kind of all to taste. There's people are gonna go back and forth with what's gonna take the majority of the low end, and it's kind of up to you. So I'm not gonna go into how I made the bass because you can download it if you really want it. And I'm starting to realize that I want to focus more on the whole concept of production, not just how you turn this to the here and then it sounds like this. I want you to make your own sounds. And there's other people who are focusing on the nitty-gritty of the production as far as the sound, but I'm more into the overall, like, what it takes to make everything. So, I hope that's cool with you guys. If not, let me know. Leave me a comment. Yeah, so, I think the big thing with this one was I ended up in a place where I didn't feel like I could get anywhere anywhere with it where I was heading before. And I took a step back and really thought about it. I was like, okay, these patterns that I'm using aren't working. Let's change this up somehow. And I did that, and so now it's kind of halftime in a way. The bass is, at least compared to what it was before, and I think when you work on things and it doesn't really feel right, you just got to do something. You can't just keep moving along and expect it to go somewhere if you're not happy with it. And it's almost like you kind of have to sacrifice a little bit in order to get somewhere else. So anyway, I don't know what else to talk about this. Like I said, I'm gonna have the patch for this, the bass. I got a pretty cool shuffle section in here, and that's really fun. So yeah, you guys are awesome. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'll be back next week with more. Thanks.